Hey everyone, welcome. This is our first LinkedIn Live in our mini-series about scalable XR. We're going to be diving into how XR transforms industries like energy and manufacturing. My name's Andy Grantham. Today we're talking about leveraging XR for digital transformation. And with me I have SynergyXR CEO and co-founder, Mads Troelsgaard. I hope I said that right, the last name.
Thanks for having me.
If you guys have any questions on the way, then pop them in the comments and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can. So let's kind of just dive into it then, really. Mads, I know you've been in the industry for over 15 years.
Yeah.
You've probably seen a little bit of everything, trends that have come and gone, devices that have come and gone, things that have developed over the years.
Yeah.
And here we are today in terms of what the situation is. But do you want to kind of maybe pack that in a little bit into a kind of a mini story of how things developed and why, and what things are hopefully going to develop into as well?
Sure. I think I'll start, then not going all the way back to the 60s and stuff like that with the Sensorama and stuff. But yeah, I would say the last wave that we've been on here in their XR journey would probably start with the Kickstarter of Oculus back in 2012, right? And back then we also backed that and got 4 headsets from that Kickstarter campaign. And of course this was an old, also heavy device, lots of latency, so you got really motion sick when you're using it. You needed Xbox controllers and stuff like that, and it was tethered to a big computer. Then we went into more standalone headsets, and that has also been a journey, how they've been developing and how much they could process, and also controllers have changed to where we are today with, I think we're a very good spot right now where prices are quite low. You can get a really nice headset for $300 and you can buy it in the nearest Best Buy or something like that, right? El Giganten here in Denmark. But the thing is, it's been a journey that's probably taken longer than I expected back then. But still, we have really seen how much have happened of what you can do today. Also, when you're looking at headsets like Apple Vision Pro and stuff like that, and we can see augmented and virtual reality headsets are being combined now, which we also predicted. And but still, it's just good to see that it's finally really, really moving something in concerning the hardware perspectives of also XR. So that's basically the hardware. It's in very short, the hardware journey that we've been on, and I think that really means a lot concerning implementation, especially not of course only for consumers, but especially also for companies, as we work with enterprises. And we've seen that this headset journey had made it a lot easier, lot less friction to utilizing these technologies to create value in companies, and that is essential to where we are today, right?
So you think we've reached a maturity in the market? Not just, I suppose, the consumer market runs kind of the business market, because the more consumers adopt a technology, the easier it will be for companies to adopt it as well. We've hit that point where now it's becoming more popular and more, we see it in different companies are becoming more and more aware and more mature in terms of different utilization of XR.
Yeah, well, of course, we're still not there. We're only in the very, very beginning of this journey as well. But yes, you're totally right. So 2-3 years ago, we saw companies were buying 10, 20 headsets, and today we see them buy 200, 400, 600 headsets at the time, right? So I think that has changed a lot, and of course, there's no doubt that consumers. So one thing I think that's changed, of course, the younger generations have entered the job markets and stuff like that. Lots of gamers that used to, being in virtual worlds, whether it's like Fortnite or even further back, like playing a lot of computer games and stuff like that. I think that's that these guys are coming into the market, but also that the technology is just, there's so much friction that has been removed and price come down and headsets are lighter and way better. And there's tracking sensors and everything in them now. So a lot have happened. So the combination of many things, I would say, have taken us to the point where we are today.
Yeah, that sounds good though. But if we look at then the role XR has in terms of digital transformation, we're thinking about enterprise and business side of it. How is XR from your experience and what you've seen over the last years? How is that how is that helping transformation in terms of the industrial kind of businesses?
So the digital transformation is a lot about optimization of different processes. How can we use digital solutions to be more efficient or empower employees, new business models as well, digital business models. So I think, there's so many aspects of the digital transformation or Industry 4.0 where XR technologies play a role. When we look at something like training, which is no doubt the fastest growing use case, both on our platform, but also what we see in the market right now within the professional use of AR and VR. Onboarding and training use cases is the fastest growing ones, and it makes total sense because there is so much optimization to do in these processes, and also within, like you mentioned, the manufacturing and the energy sector, which where we work a lot with these kind of sectors, and these are sectors with a lot of older employees that is on the way to pension, and these people have been in those companies for maybe 10, 20 or 30 years. And the younger generation that comes into the job market now will only stay in the company for like 1, 2, maybe 3 years, then they'll move on. So there's a huge risk of losing a lot of key knowledge from the old employees. And this used to be transferred to people with peer-to-peer training and classroom trainings, which is quite time consuming. And so with a younger generation that shift jobs, doesn't have the same job around, right? It's hard to keep that knowledge inside the companies. But if we can like make digital trainings in, for example, AR and VR, then we can make it scalable and we can make it easy, transferable, and also you'll not suffer from downtime on machinery while you're training. You can train offsite. Another thing is, of course, safety. When you train in VR, you won't get hurt. That is an important part as well. So I think that is just on the training side, but of course there are so many different aspects also in the digital transformation umbrella that where AR and VR, for example, service and maintenance, where we see like digital twins and can help a lot, where you can have predictive maintenance. Maybe you can solve problems directly in a digital model, but also you can empower local employees by guiding them or actually being them, collaborating with them as a virtual avatar together with them, where you actually do the guidance and stuff like that in augmented or offsite in a full virtual environment where you empower them to solve tasks. And of course this can, optimize a lot of processes, save a lot of time, so you don't have to send experts on airplanes when they are in airports or in airplanes. Experts are in downtime. You can't, they can't do anything else but being there. That is one thing. The other thing is if you can get a machine up and running and fast, you can also save a lot of money. I think, each year they're spent like $50 billion on machinery downtime, unplanned machinery downtime.
Yeah, so, and that kind of leads me, because we're going to go on to the value or the impact it has on companies. And I mean, you mentioned kind of more I suppose, general things, but do you have any kind of real world examples where people have created some kind of value from implementing any of these kind of XR trainings or knowledge sharing activities through VR or AR?
Yeah, so we have several customers, of course, that have utilized these technologies and gained many different kinds of benefits within training, which is the obvious one. I think we have a very good case from one of our industrial companies where we have cut down training time from 6 weeks to actually 3 months time. It took peer-to-peer training of training a new employee on a workstation, and we were able to actually cut that down training time to 4 days. Wow. Which is quite amazing in itself. Also, we have another customer within the offshore business where you do training on it's training that happens on big ships. Here, we cut down. I think it was $10,000 they saved per employee for the per training they were doing out there. Yeah, and naturally, it's because you can make it available offsite again and do trainings, and also you can also actually save a lot of. Even though in the digital transformation process, there's also like big simulators that has come in this last 10 years time as well, and usually these simulators also cost like lots of millions, and these are not like you have to fly in to be trained in these simulators. But with AR and VR, you can actually also take those kind of trainings out locally and do trainings out there, which of course gives you an opportunity to also save on the simulators in many ways, or at least be better prepared. Sometimes you have to go to a training center, be there for a week. If you can do a lot of the trainings and classroom trainings and theory and stuff like that before you actually come there, maybe you can cut that training time down to maybe 1 or 2 days.
So you're supplementing the actual physical training you have to do, and then knowing in advance to kind of to cut down on the training time. Yeah. I suppose in terms of, there's been a big boom in things like LMS systems, which is like 2D trainings or things like that. Is there use cases for that as well? And how's your experience with?
Yeah, there's a lot of blended learning going on right now, and like of course we also made integrations to all kinds of LMS systems out of box with APIs and stuff like that. I think it's necessary. So today you can like take a classic e-learning course, and maybe in that course, module 5, you have to jump into a virtual reality part of that. That could be, for example, within renewable energies or for wind turbines, for example. Then in module 5, you have to go and into the nacelle or something else, and then you jump into your VR headset and take that module and tick that off in your LMS system and go back, and then you continue at module 5 and 6 and 7, and maybe module 8 again is an augmented reality module or VR module as well.
That makes sense. Yeah. But okay, if we think about then manufacturing energy or these industrial kind of businesses, are there specific use cases which are better suited than others from what we're seeing, also in terms of the development? From what's being used and how I suppose the maturity in the market.
Yeah, so there's no doubt, and I think I mentioned that so many times now. Also, training and onboarding, of course, is extremely fast growing, because this is where you can get benefit from day one today, and this is also where the industries are really suffering because they can't find the right local the resources any longer, so they have to upskill workers from totally different industries. So it makes perfect sense. Within the manufacturing industry, there's over 10 million manufacturing jobs that remain vacant due to a skills gap right now, which is insane, right? So if we can go in there and tap into that value proposition and offer easier training and onboarding, there's so much to. It's a good business case, basically. But I think in the longer run, we're looking into, several of other use cases, like I mentioned, of course, before within the service organization, where you can help technicians. You can already do that today. Of course, you can use FaceTime or Teams and whatever, but also where you actually jump in there and do some augmented reality guides to solve problems, which is also possible to do today with technology and our platform and stuff like that, right? We can set up guides, save that into the system. We also see, of course, a big impact in sales and marketing. Of course, they're also starting to adopt these technologies. So, for example, in expos, you can suddenly, of course, like a wind turbine is a big thing. You can't just move it around and bring it to an expo, but you can do that with VR headsets, right? So you can just bring your whole product catalog, and you can take people on a tour down to your factories and show them that. In sales meetings as well, you can meet with your customers in a virtual environment and show them new products. We have a customer that made a product release on our platform of a new hardware product, where they did the introduction of this machine fully in virtual reality. They shipped out headsets to VIP customers around the world and made them jump in and meeting in a
because I mean, to get people to come there would be hard in itself.
It would be hard and very expensive, and
moving the machinery itself to somewhere else.
It just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort for a lot of people. But shipping out headsets, super simple, and so I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and also of actually augmented reality, where you can do like placements in installations and shop floor planning and stuff like that. There's also one of the use cases I've seen grow as well. Not as fast as onboarding training, but it's definitely growing. Also, design reviews is actually pretty big as well. It's also coming in there.
Yeah, right. I'm aware of the time. I think we've aimed for about 20 minutes. We have 30 minutes if there's any questions and stuff at the end, but we've got a few minutes before we hit the 20-minute mark. I want to know some of the practical strategies then. If people are looking to adopt XR, and they're just beginning their digital transformation journey, what are the first steps they need to take in terms of, because I mean, you could have a full metaverse generally in terms of all the solutions, but I suppose that's a bit of a big step to take to begin with.
And I've seen too many times actually that architects try to paint, try to draw and illustrate and try to build a project. Now we have to build our own metaverse, and it's just a huge project. And as we have seen with technology, how fast it changes and stuff like that, I would definitely not recommend it. I would recommend that you focus on the single use case that is giving you the best business case or safety, what do you call it? Procedure, something like that. So where
some kind of training or learning.
Where there is some kind of good use case that you're struggling with right now, focus there and only focus on that, and then solve that problem. And from there, maybe build on and on for different use cases. Of course, I would recommend using a platform instead of building everything from scratch. Use a platform, you'll get a totally different offset from that where we are today. It's like websites, right? You don't when you want a new website, you know this because you're also in marketing. So when you want a new website, you don't start with the HTML code starting coding. No, you use a platform, a technology like WordPress or Wix.com, right, for generating that website. And we are in that situation today. Use a platform, use a tool, and that will give you a totally different years. You will be years ahead if you started programming in Unity or Unreal from the very beginning. Choose a scalable platform.
Well, I suppose because in, let's say, the olden days, you used to have to be able to code and do everything yourself, and that took not just months but years to develop custom projects. But nowadays, what's the speed you can do it at?
Weeks. So you can build a training application in 1 to 3 weeks time, in a no-code environment, which is pretty amazing that is possible. When we 5 years ago were like building everything from scratch for every single customer, every single use case, that could easily take 3 months to 8 months time, depending on how big the project was, for just maybe one training, right? By an expert Unity developer team and graphic department, where we can cut that down to 2 to 3 weeks today.
Okay, so if a company has a concrete use case, they know what they want to do, and they have the specs for how that procedure or training goes, you could have it in your hands within a month, essentially.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
My tablet has crashed, so I can't see if the questions, Torben, are there. So just to finish up, if you think there's anything we've missed just before we finish up, Mads, anything you'd like people to know, or something else that we didn't talk about today?
I'm not sure if you're missing anything. Please, you're welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can just, if we're not linked, make a connection, and then feel free to ask me a question or anything. Yeah.
That's just if anyone doesn't know, it's at Mads Troelsgaard. As it is in the event, you can also click on his name there and connect if you'd like to do that. So I think time's up. That's a wrap for today. So remember, guys, this isn't theory. It's happening here and it's now. So if you're interested, then look into it. It might be interesting for your company. Thanks for watching, and don't miss out on the next one in the series. We're planning these roughly every 2 weeks. The next one will be about scalable XR and how you can implement it from a pilot project to an actual enterprise project as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Thanks.